Okay, we're going to go over this answer key on the horizontal and vertical lines. We know that 3 minus 3 is 0, so 0 over 6. We know 3 divided by 6 minus 6 is 3 over 0. 3 minus 3 is 0, and 6 minus 6 is 0. If 0 is in the numerator, the top part of the fraction, but not in the denominator, the fraction equals 0. If the 0 is in the denominator of a fraction, the fraction is undefined. Okay, those are two things you're going to have to know. Now, here, we have to tell whether or not the graphs below display a function. Calculate the slope of each line, and you may either find the rise and run directly from the graphs or use the slope formula to get your answers. So, as you can see, I picked two numbers, and I did the x and the y, the x1, y1, x2, y2, did the formula, and we got 0 over 2. Now, this means it has a 0 slope, and it is a function, okay? Now, here, I used 2 points down here, and I calculated it out in x, y, y1, x2, y2, and plugged in the numbers. And remember, when you subtract, the negative number becomes a positive, so 0 over 3. The slope of a horizontal line equals 0. Both y coordinates are the same. So I want you to notice with this, the y coordinate was -4. Here was 3. So when you see that, bing, 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 think 0 slope. Okay? Now here, when we completed the table, they gave us the x coordinate here. Now, when they gave us the formula 0x, so we had to fill in y, 0x plus 5. So if you multiply -2 times 0, -1 times 0, 0 times 0, 1 times 0, 2 times 0, you're going to get 0. So y is always going to equal 5. The same thing over here. If you take -5 and you multiply it times 0, and you take -2 times 0 is going to be 0. 0 times 0 is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 5 times 0 is 0. So you're always just going to end up with the constant. Okay? So this is graphed with these coordinate points. This is graphed with the coordinate points. You can see the points down here. So again, the y will always be the constant, and it'll be a horizontal line. So down here, we had to pick which ones would show a horizontal line. Well, you don't have anything else but y equals. And then here, we know y will always equal -1, the constant, because it's 0 times x. Okay? The slope formula is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, where x1 and x1, y1, and x2, y2 are points on the line. Find the slope between the 2 points using the formula. So again, y1, x2, y2. We plug in the formula. Again, remember, if you're subtracting a negative, it becomes a positive. And this became 0 over -6, so the slope is 0. y1, x1, y1, x2, y2. You plug in everything in the formula, and remember, when you subtract a negative, it becomes a positive. So this came out to 0.9, slope equals 0. Now, if you need to pause this video right now and go back and look at how everything's set up, please do so. Okay, page 3 of the answer key. Without using the slope formula, how can you tell if the slope of a line between 2 points will be 0 just by looking at the 2 points or the 2 sets of coordinate points? If the x coordinates are different and the y coordinates are the same, that's how you know the slope will be 0. The y coordinates are the same. So that's what we said on this page here. If you noticed here, let me bring it up a little bit further. you're going to see that the y is the same and the y is the same here. Okay? Now, tell whether or not the graph displays a function. This one is no. Okay? Because we're going to go through it. When we calculate the slope, we picked two numbers on each one. And when we picked the numbers and we plugged in the values, we got -2 over 0. When you have a fraction with a 0 in the denominator, it's undefined. Again, you plug in the values, and remember when you subtract a negative, it becomes a positive. So when there is a 0 in the denominator, it's undefined. So the slope of a vertical line, which is up and down, is undefined. And this is not a function, okay? And note, x-coordinates are the same. If you notice, I highlighted them in yellow. The x-coordinates are the same when you see a vertical line. Now here, the same thing happens. If you go x plus 0 times y equals 5, anytime you multiply whatever the y is times 0, you're going to get 0. So it's always going to be the number here, the constant. Same thing over here. So when I plotted everything and we filled in the chart, so -2 times 0 is 0, so x equals 5. -1 times 0 is 0, so it becomes 5. So you do it across over here. X plus negative times -5 is 0, so x equals -4. Okay, so I plotted the coordinates from both tables, and it gave us a vertical line. An equation of the form x equals constant will be a vertical line. That's what they're saying. The -4 is constant. The 5 is constant. Okay? The ones that apply here, x equals 50, x equals 1, x equals 0. Those are all constant, and therefore they create a vertical line. Now, when given the slope formula, again here notice the x's are the same but for the two sets of points. So we use the formula y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. We have our set of points here. We plug on our y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. We get 2 over 0. Same over here, 7 minus 4. -4, subtract -4. Remember, these become a positive. So it's 3 over 0. The slope is undefined. Now, how can you look? It's the opposite of a horizontal line. If you can look at the points and you see that the x coordinates are the same and the y coordinates are different, you know this will have an undefined slope. Okay? Please ask any questions you have, and thanks for listening.